Hey guys, Brandon Olson here, another episode of Rank Daddy TV. Today we're going to talk about storytelling and using stories, weaving them through your prospecting so that when it comes time at the end to ask for the sale, they've already committed. They're asking you how to pay. So I'm going to show you one example of a story that I use that's worked wonders in my business, especially in my local area here to local businesses in the city that I live in. So I'm going to share that with you and how you can use stories in your prospecting too. So let's go.
So here's the question. How can marketers like us, working only part-time and running our entire business from our laptop or smartphone, how are we able to guarantee insane results to our clients when the mainstream internet marketing gurus say the guarantees are impossible? That's the question, and this podcast will give you the answers. My name is Brandon Olson, and welcome to Rank Daddy.
All right, guys, so today I want to talk about telling stories and using stories in your prospecting to help you land clients. Telling stories and using details and being able to put the customer's mind or allowing the customer to imagine the story being placed in your story makes it so much easier. It's like when you get to the close, he's ready to already pay you. He's asking you how to pay, how do we start? So there's no stress, there's no pressures, there's no awkwardness when it comes to ask for the sale. So here's an example. And this is a story that I use time in, time out because it works so well, because it's a great success story. And it starts with a guy who owns a company in my city. It's a tubing company. So my city is really busy in the summer with tourism and things like that. The number one water park in the world is situated here. It's called Schlitterbahn, and there's two rivers that run directly through the city. One of them's in the Guinness Book of World Records as the shortest navigable river in the world. So people come, they'll go to a river outfitter, rent a tube, and float down the river for a few hours, enjoying maybe drinks or beer with friends and family, just having a good time on the water. It gets hot in Texas in the summer, 100 degrees for days on end, so it's very popular. Literally hundreds of thousands of people will come to these rivers during the summer. So this guy builds a business, a tubing business, and he's nowhere near the water. All the river outfitters generally are sitting on the water, or they're a block from the water, because that's where people are coming. They're coming to the river, then they're going to find an outfitter, someplace to rent their tube and plop in the river, float down. When you get to the end, they haul you back up in the shuttle bus back to where you parked. So this guy, there's no land anymore, around the river, or the river's edge, or anywhere near it. So he sets up shop 15 blocks from the entrance of the river and about 8 blocks from the end of the river. And this is the Comal. So the Comal is entirely contained in the city limits of New Braunfels. Comes out of springs, so it's crystal clear spring water, 72 degrees all year long. And at the end of the river, it flows into the Guadalupe River. So it completely ends. The whole river takes about 3 hours to float the whole thing front to back. It's less than 2 miles. It's a very short river, but it's so clear. You can see to the bottom, even where it's the deepest, about 8, 10, 12 feet. So anyway, he sets up shop nowhere near the water. The other outfitters are like, "You're crazy, this isn't going to work." He starts renting. And so he's kind of in a standstill for the first couple of years. He gets to page 3 because it has a website built and doesn't really know how to propel that thing forward, because there's a lot of competition. There's so much money involved in this industry. It's a high profit margin. Literally, the outfitters are making $500,000 a summer easy. And that's just renting the same tubes over and over and over again. So you can imagine the profit level. So he's wondering how he can get to the top of Google, because he knows that's where the money are. He's searched New Braunfels tubes and Comal River tubing and New Braunfels tubing. So he sees the top guys there. It's always the same few companies and the city's website, things that have been established for like 20 years. So he's got to figure out a way to break into that. So he hires an SEO company. They get going, and that's us, by the way. We get him to the page 1 within months. So now he's got an entirely new set of problems. Here he is tubing season has already started, and he has too many customers. And this is one of the problems we face with businesses as we start their SEO campaign, or once we get into it actually. They have too many customers. They have to figure out now, okay, can we expand? Can we hire more staff? Can we grow our fleet, add more trucks or whatever? What do we have to do to keep up with this influx of customers? Because being at the top of Google is an entirely new set of issues to deal with as a business owner. It's a good issue. I mean, it's a good problem to have, right? Too many customers. So what did he do? He can't go buy more buses to move more people, because what's happening is when he opens the doors, there's 200 people waiting to pay and check in. In the morning when he gets there, he opens, the people keep coming, and then there's 3-hour wait in his back parking lot for people to wait in the Texas 100 degrees to get on a bus to be brought to the top of the river. But people keep coming because that's the power of Google. They Google, there he is, he comes, and they show up. So he's like, okay, I'm going to cut off all of my coupons, right? If I'm going to cut people, if I have too many customers, I want to cut off the ones who I'm making the least amount of money on, right? Coupons. And then he cuts off his Groupon. Groupon, kind of a no-brainer, because they take and sell the things for half off, and then they pay you half, so you're getting 25 cents on the dollar. So easy. Cut that Groupon off. Now you've shaved that customer base off. There's still so many customers, but it's manageable. You can't go and buy more buses because the city has an ordinance that says that all buses must be registered before May 1st. Here it is, end of May. Summer is about to really start cranking because June doubles the customers that May has. July doubles the customers that June has. It's about to get really busy. So he is frantic, and he just decides, okay, we're going to raise the prices because there's too many customers. 25% more expensive than every other outfit renting tubes, and still is able to stay busier than everybody else. He makes more money than ever and deals with less customers. And I don't know if you've dealt with this before in your business, but the people who pay the least normally complain the most. It's the craziest thing. A guy can come in and drop $200 on his family to go tubing, and they have the greatest time ever. Their tube could pop, but they had a blast. The other guy that's done the Groupon maybe, and there's a lot more complainers. It's the strangest thing at a lower price point. They feel entitled. I don't know. But, so, that's what he does. He raises prices. He's the most expensive outfitter on the entire river, and he's nowhere near the water. He's 15 blocks, remember, from the entrance. There's still hundreds of people waiting when he shows up. There's still a couple hours wait. It gets busier on holidays, but that's expected. It's kind of manageable. So we have to go through this scenario as we approach a new business owner and say, are you in a position to be able to expand as we get you to the top of Google? Can you buy more fleet? Can you hire more staff? Are you in the position to, if you have too much, are you be willing to raise prices? Whatever it takes, in other words, to deal with this massive influx of customers. Normally they say yes. So that's the story, right? This story, and by the way, this tubing business owner, that was me. That was my real life scenario that I went through. I learned SEO in the off season so I could propel my tubing business to the top of Google and be able to compete and get more business like the rest of the guys. Still, the other companies had no idea what was going on. They thought they could just build websites and people would come. New outfitters would come in once they saw me doing it, and they just weren't as successful. Our drivers would get to the entrance of the river, and some of the other drivers are like, what are you guys doing over there? Because we're just lapping them, bus after bus after bus, dropping off completely full, maxed out passengers. And one of the little old lady drivers, she says, we're just doing business. So she's not going to tell them, right, how we're doing it. And we weren't about to spill the beans either, because then everybody catch on. But we've learned a lot since then. So that was kind of our first case scenario as an SEO business. I have now, a couple years back, 2.5 years, sold the tubing business to focus only on SEO. We've learned so much, and we've been able to help so many businesses the same way that we propelled Comal tubes forward, we have forced landscaping companies to buy more fleet and hire more staff, and dentists to expand and hire more hygienists. We've made limo drivers expand into other outlying area cities and buy more fleet because of the customer count they couldn't keep up with once they realized going from page 3 or page 2 to the top of page 1 is literally double or tripling your income and your revenue. So that's an example of a story I use. Use stories in your business like that to create in your prospect's mind realism and the reality of what's going to happen when you take over their SEO campaign. This isn't a joke. This absolutely works. The process of Rank Daddy that we set up, all you've got to do is land the clients. And this is why we're doing so many of these little prospecting videos and prospecting tips, because once you've got the clients, you literally plug them into Rank Daddy, and those few steps will do all the work ranking. That's already been proven. That's not a question that's on the table anymore. So now it's about teaching and getting you guys help with landing more clients. And so that's really what we want to focus on. But try to get to a point where you're using stories. Say those stories over and over to yourself. Repeat them so that when you're in front of a customer or on the phone or shooting a screencast video or even an email, the words come out so that that customer is picturing what's about to happen to their business if they give you a chance. And now by this time they're saying, how can we start? And here's what I do. Ooh, sorry about that. Had a little coughing spell there. So I will ask that question to business owners as a prospects. Are you able to either hire more fleet, hire more staff, or buy more fleet, or raise your prices, or whatever it takes to deal with those massive amount of customers as they come in when we get you there? Because a lot of times business owners just, they're too small. They can't handle any of that. They were not in the position to scale. So it's not really a good fit for us to even start an SEO process. So if you, what do you think? Can you do that when we get to that point? And they're like, yeah, we can do that most of the time. I mean, someone will be honest. Someone will say, no, we're not going to be able to grow like that. There's 2 of us here. We got no room to grow. So that's when you know. But most of the times they're going to say, yes, we can. And that's when you say, okay, well, we'll get started tomorrow. I'll send you an invoice and we'll get started now. So that's it, guys. Tell stories, use stories in your sales and your prospecting. It makes it so much easier when you get to the end and do that close and you get time to ask for the money. There's no awkward there. They're ready. They've already committed in their mind that this guy knows what he's talking about and this stuff's going to work. They can already see the future. They can see the dollar signs rolling in and themselves on the beach in Jamaica somewhere. See you next time, guys. Thanks for watching Rank Daddy TV. And by the way, we are now on iTunes, Google Play, of course, YouTube. Stitcher is coming up, SoundCloud, and a lot of other platforms. But go to rankdaddy.tv if you want to see all the past issues, the past releases, episodes, and they're all there. Have a good one.